program is produced using the resources of Public Media Network in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Learn more at publicmedianet.org.
Welcome to Connected Communities. My name is David Benack, and this is a show about Kalamazoo and people who are doing great things, and we tend to have an environmental emphasis to bring people together. Today I have a co-host with me, Jill Byers.
Hello, nice to be here.
And our special guest with this episode is EB from Feed Me Kzoo.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Excellent. All right, let's get things started with really simple question. What is Feed Me Kzoo?
Well, Feed Me Kzoo is a lot of things, but I can start from where it started and then go into what it is today. So I started it back in 2018 as a food blog. So basically I'd go around to local restaurants and eat a good meal, hopefully, and then write about it in this blog. The blogs were like 4 pages long and no one was really reading them.
I was reading them.
Well, thanks, Joe. But I did that for a few years just for fun, just as a hobby. I like to write, I like food, so it seemed like a good combo. And then I kind of moved over to social media doing Instagram, and then the pandemic happened, and I had to shift gears pretty quickly because we weren't going out to eat anymore. So I really wanted to help people find good food despite all the issues we were having and still support our local businesses. So the focus shifted on that, and that following has grown over the last couple of years to a point where I felt like I needed to do more than that. It was getting, I don't want to say boring, but I just felt like I needed more of a challenge. So this year I started a walking food tour downtown Kalamazoo where people buy tickets and then I take them to the places I always talk about. So I started that in April.
Since I've been following from the beginning, some of the stuff that I've really loved are like the Best Pizza in Kalamazoo contest and some of that kind of stuff. And now the walking tours. Tell us more about that. And
well, the best of have been really popular. I've been doing those for a couple of years now, and every time I do them, I get a lot of engagement, and people are very passionate. So I've done Best Pizza, I've done Best Burger, Best Breakfast, and it's really fun to watch. I completely let my followers pick that. I have no say in what is the best. But yeah, people get intense in the comments, and there's some fighting.
So I was telling him right before you came in that the Best Pizza one was Pizza Caterina, which sadly is closed now. But I was like, that wasn't who I voted for.
There was lots of feedback on that, which I love them. And actually, just a side story on that, after that happened, they invited me to come, and I met them. It was a family-owned business, and they were amazing and thanked me. They said I changed the business for them. Like, they got all this new business. They were about to fire someone because they just couldn't afford it anymore. And that felt like, okay, I'm doing something here that like means something, and maybe not to a lot of people, but at least to this one family. So that was like a pivotal moment.
Yeah, for sure. They were really vocal about the community support in general. But and that's happened more than once. People invite you out, and you've been able to give away gift cards and.
Yeah, that's a new thing I'm doing recently. I'm picking a restaurant every month that either is, put out there that they need help, or I've just heard through the grapevine. So I'll pick a restaurant and then encourage my followers to go there. And at the end of the month, I'll have a gift card to that place for one of the people that have gone. So I try to do as much as I can to help, because I know the restaurant business is hard. I love good food, and I love good food that's sourced local if possible. So I want to just continue to support that and encourage their community too.
That's all really important. We talk about with this podcast, we've had like artists on, but I also think that food is an art.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So I've kind of gotten into more reality TV and like watching the chefs and stuff. It's really interesting, and I never was like I couldn't imagine 10 years ago sitting around watching a cooking show, but yeah, now I'm like into it. So
those are some of my favorites, and we love Gordon Ramsay in my house. But that has taught me a lot about the industry. I've never personally worked in a restaurant, or I cook at home, but I'm not professional, but those shows have taught me a lot, so they do something.
So yeah, tell us more about exactly what the food tours are.
Sure,
and how much fun they are.
They have been so much
how
fun.
You're helping build community with that.
Yeah, so the food tours, I do about 2 months, usually they've all been on a Saturday. People can buy tickets on my website. They're $65 a ticket, but I do groups of 12 at the max. And we always start downtown right across the street here at Pop City Popcorn. And that's where I do my meet and greets and introduce everyone and kind of share how the day is going to go. And then from there, we go to 4 other restaurants. So we spend about 30 minutes at each restaurant, where we get a meal of some sort, or a tasting of a meal. And usually someone from the restaurant comes to the table, either the chef or one of the managers, or even like a server that knows a lot about their restaurant, and just shares a little bit with my group, and then we pick up and go to the next stop. So it's about 3 hours long, and by the end, people leave full. And what's been really fun for me is meeting new people and getting to know some of our community more, but it's really fun to sit back and watch them connect with each other. So it's always like that first stop, it's kind of quiet because we're all sitting at one table, and not everyone knows each other. There might be a couple couples or a group of 4 here and there, but it's kind of quiet that first stop, and then by the time we're walking to the next, you see a little bit more chatter, and by the end, I've seen like numbers being exchanged and people making connections, and that's so fun for me. So that's been probably my favorite part of the whole thing.
So you work with the restaurants to like have like this dish prepared or ready for when you show up, or?
Yeah, so when we get there, as soon as we sit down, they know it's us, and they bring the food right out. So what I did is approach the restaurants and just say, like, what's something you want to showcase? Or maybe it's my favorite dish from one of them. It's my favorite dish that, I want to make sure that I can share with other people. It's kind of collaborative effort to pick what we're going to share. A lot of them we do family style, just because it's a good way, again, to connect with each other, and it's also just easier for the kitchens to do. So I want to make it as seamless as possible for them too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so what do people on the tour learn when they're there? So what I'm thinking of, when I used to live in New Orleans, and I had a friend who had a business called New Orleans Culinary History Tours. And it was really fun, same kind of thing, walk around, food and drinks, and learn history about the area and the restaurants.
Yeah, it's similar. History is sprinkled in there. So in between every walk, I have, usually it's a building that's been around for a long time, like the Kalamazoo building, or the Haymarket building. I might stop and just talk about the history of it. Just for a couple minutes. It's not I don't like to call it a history history tour, but I do sprinkle it in there just to share a little bit about Kalamazoo and its beginnings. But then also we learn a lot at each restaurant. Some of them are bigger, and some of them are small family owned. So they come over, like I said, and share, how they started sometimes. So we get a little restaurant history as well.
It's fun.
Which is really fun, yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of reminds me of, so I worked at the dialysis center right downtown Kalamazoo, and it was close to Bimbo's.
Oh, yeah.
And going in there and like seeing the old time family, and,
Yes.
Yeah,
we have some of that still around here, and I don't think people know that. So that's so fun to share with everyone. Yeah.
How do you choose the restaurants?
That was hard, and I'm still choosing because I do change it up tour to tour. Really, if I'm being honest, at the beginning, it was whoever would take me. So I would approach a restaurant saying, hey, I have this new thing that no one's done down here yet. So not everyone was excited about it. Now that I've been down here a little bit more and getting to know people. But I try to choose, like I said, definitely locally owned, so no like chains or anything like that. Places that I've been that I've loved their food, or I try to showcase so it's not kind of all the same kind of food through the whole tour, so a little bit different cuisines at each stop. But now that I'm growing a little bit more, and like I said, building connections and getting to know some of the owners and some of the managers at the restaurants, I've been able to get a few more and then rotate them, which has been nice. Because at first it was a struggle. My first tour, I was a little concerned. I would only have like 2 or 3 stops, but they came through.
Is everything walking distance, driving? What is
It's
it?
all walking. So we stay right down here, mostly on the mall and then Michigan Ave. But the most we walk is maybe a mile and a half. So each walk in between restaurants is like a 5 to 7 minute walk. So nothing too strenuous. I've had all ages come on the tour, and everyone's done great. And we've had really good weather. We've had one day that it rained a little bit, and that's been it. So I've lucked out.
That's good.
Yeah.
Any interesting stories about people interacting with each other or with restaurant staff, which is just kind of fun and
I have a couple. I mean, even just so sometimes I don't eat on the tour because people buy the tickets and they're not paying for me to eat. So I just kind of linger and chat. So at the end of the tour, I'm always hungry. So I one time met a friend at one of the restaurants that I stopped at, and I saw a family that had come on my tour the week before. And I loved that because they came back. You know, that's the whole purpose, is to get more people to come down here. So that was fun. There was one person a couple tours back that was there by herself, which that's happened, but I was watching her talk to someone else, and I could see on their face they were excited to talk to her. So I came over, I was like, what's going on? And she just was explaining that this woman was a teacher in Indiana, and she has a goal of getting to each of the 50 states. So every week she travels somewhere new, and just on her own. And so this was her Michigan day, which I thought was really cool. So, you know, the whole rest of the tour, everyone was really excited. She was kind of quiet at first, but once everyone else heard her story, you know, they were like, okay, what's next? Where are you going next? And if you go here, you know, then people are giving her suggestions on, you know, little towns to visit in random states. So that was really fun.
Like you were saying, how at first the restaurants weren't really too sure about it, but now they've like came, you know, like you've got more people and stuff. It seems like they would be all, you know, on board for it, you know, like.
Which, I
because like you said, people are coming back. You're seeing the same families, and
that's happened multiple times where I've seen people run into people down here that are coming back. But yeah, I think at first it was just like confusion about what this was.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, anything new, people. You know,
and
instinctively like
what kind of work they had to put in.
Oh
and,
right.
And I mean, to be honest, I'm not bringing in tons of money because we're, you know, taking an entree and sharing it. And people can buy drinks on the tour. That's not included in the tickets. So there's a little bit more money spent. But at the end of the day, it's a half hour that I'm at these places. It's prearranged, so it's quick. But, you know, something I also said is I'm going to be bringing, you know, 100 people through here during my tour season. So, like, that's 100 new people sitting down in your restaurant with the opportunity to, you know, gain them as a fan. So
yeah. And I mean, people talk about restaurants and food, so I mean, word of mouth is like one of the best ways to, you know, get people in your restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah. So now that they see, I think just being visible down here and walking around with a group of 12 people, it's, you know, easy to see me. So I think that's helped get in more places as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure like once you mention the name, you know, people like go to your social media and see what you've been doing. And so that's cool. I'm glad that it's working out.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
You mentioned kind of briefly at the beginning that the pandemic was a turning point for you. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about how the pandemic affected what you were doing and how your approach to things? Yeah,
so like I said before, I was doing the blogs, and it was restaurant reviews, and I was being fully honest, and sometimes I didn't like it. And then I was actually doing reviews for a local magazine too. So those, I just felt like I wasn't really helping anyone but people that are visiting the restaurants. It wasn't helpful to the restaurants. When the pandemic happened, I saw how much they struggled. You know, a lot of places were doing takeout, but not really sure how to do that because they had never done that before. And communicating to our community was hard for them. So I just felt like I can step in here and help them a little bit. I mean, at the time I didn't have a huge following, but even if, you know, 5 people saw my post that this place has great whatever, and all you have to do is go and drive up on the curb and they'll bring it to you, stuff like that. Then I could get the word out a little bit and help these restaurants, because we saw a lot of places close then, and that broke my heart. I think, like I mentioned before, the restaurant business is one of the hardest ones to keep afloat. So when I see these local people, like I said, family owned especially, putting their blood, sweat, and tears to something, and we're just not visiting them because we don't know about them or whatever, I don't like it. So I just wanted to encourage people to make sure we're not forgetting them during all that.
That's probably a way that people wouldn't think about that was an influence that you're thinking about performing a service in a sense for the restaurants.
I mean, there was so much going on then too, and I worked.
And not like,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
we were like sitting around doing nothing for how many months, you know.
I work as a hairstylist for my 9 to 5, so I couldn't work. So I'm just sitting watching all this happen in front of me. So it just felt like, and maybe that was part of it, feeling like it was something I could do when I was feeling so helpless about everything. So, yeah. But it you know, doing that, shifting gears like that just changed the whole trajectory to Feed Me Kzoo, which I'm grateful for now.
How has it changed or affected your life to being like a small business owner now?
Well, I'm much more busy than I ever was, which I work a lot as is, so I don't know. Part of me is like, why did I start a small business? But it's just been really fun. I have a very supportive husband at home that's been very helpful. Yeah,
who also loves food.
He does, and he's a great partner to go eat out with and everything. So he's been fun to tag along with on this whole thing. But really, it's I think being more involved with my community has actually been great for my mental health. I think being some part of our community is like a great nervous system regulator. So recommend it to everyone. But that's been great. Busy is okay for me when I'm having fun. So it's been really fun.
I feel the same way about the native plant community in Kalamazoo. Like, you know,
kind of find your people, right?
Yeah, and you know, like I don't think anything helps me out more mental health wise than, you know, the garden and you know, seeing all the butterflies. Oh my gosh, I've seen so many butterflies this year.
Oh, I love it.
Like found my place finally, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think just finding your passion in anything can be really rewarding in more ways than just like, oh, this is fun.
How has it changed your relationship with the restaurant owners and staff?
Well, it's given me a little bit of a sneak peek of behind the scenes because, like I said, I've never worked in a restaurant. I've never been a server or a bartender or a chef or anything. So it's given me a sneak peek to a little bit of what happens behind the scenes, which it's hard work. It's really hard work. But, yeah, all the places I go to, they're great, and they've been really nice to work with. So,
do you get involved in other community organizations now because you've got this going on?
I've been asked to do more things lately in the last year or two, and it's really, I mean, the stuff they're asking me to do is really fun. Like, I've been a food judge a few times for these.
Oh, that's cool.
I did, the most recent one was a Girl Scout event, which was, I've done it before, I've attended before, but this is the first year I judged. And it's an event to raise money for the Girl Scouts, but they invite chefs from all over Kalamazoo County. They come in and they make something out of a Girl Scout cookie. So a lot of it's dessert, as you can imagine. So I got to taste like 15 different dessert creations. I think there was one savory dish, and the rest were all sweet, but and judge, and that was so fun. But it's also just fun to be a part of those charity events. I did a mac and cheese food judge once where I had to try 19 different mac and cheeses. And then I didn't eat mac and cheese for gosh, almost like a year. I think after that, they were all amazing. But I'm sure you can imagine after 19 of them.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It
you
reminds me
fill.
of like growing up, we ate eggs like every day. And like for years after I was grown, like I didn't eat eggs, and now I don't eat them at all. But yeah.
It'll ruin it for you when you have too many. So yeah, I've been able to be a part of those.
That's so fun.
Mm-hmm. I was just recently invited to a dinner too. That was really cool. It was out on a farm, and it was probably, gosh, I think there was 7 different chefs that came out and cooked this meal that were all like farm to table. They used all local farms. They cooked it right there, like open fire pits, and they had like one big farm table. So I get invited to fun stuff like that, that just celebrates. That one in particular was celebrating local farming around here, and then like trying to create more community within that. So there's been a lot of really great things that have come out of that for me that I appreciate.
Yeah, so one of the things, I mean, of course, we talk about climate change all the time, but that's like one of the best ways to fight greenhouse gases, and having things shipped here is by supporting local farmers and local growers, and even growing your own stuff, you know?
Absolutely. I've been actually surprised to hear when I'm visiting the restaurants on my tour how many of them actually do source as much as I can locally. I assumed some did, but more and more I think are starting to down here, which I fully appreciate.
Yeah, it's important, and it's important to customers too.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's a good selling point as a restaurant
for sure.
to do that and engages more people to come in. So yeah, absolutely.
Kind of going off that, are there any particular like trends or anything you see that's changing or that's evolving in the local food at the restaurants?
What I'm seeing a lot right now is charcuterie boards, which I love. I think it's a nice way to try a lot of different things. And there's some restaurants that are strictly charcuterie boards, and then other restaurants just have them. I do love them, and I think they're very popular, but I do think it's going to go away eventually. I think it's a trend that's going to maybe, but I also, a trend that I love that I've been seeing, I'm not personally a vegetarian or a vegan, but I was at one point in my life, and I see more and more menu items that are geared either vegetarian, vegan, or even just the gluten-free stuff that's gluten intolerant. I think they're catching on that people want that. So, and hopefully I don't have any tours this year that are specifically vegetarian or vegan, but that is something that's been requested that I hope to incorporate next year, to have 1 or 2 tours that are strictly vegan, which would be fun.
So I know they do have like the vegan chef challenge in Kalamazoo, and it's a lot easier to eat. Even restaurants like the little mom and pop's diner right downtown. I'm blanking on the name. Right next to Michigan News Agency.
Oh, Capitol Grill?
No.
Legacy Table.
No. Anyways, it'll probably come to me, but like they have an extensive, and it's not just like, a couple of, tofu scrambles. Like, they have pancakes that are vegan. And I think a lot of restaurants are finally
catching on. Yeah, when I was a vegetarian, like I said, through my 20s, and that was a while ago. And back then, going out to eat was hard because it was like a garden salad or, an app that I didn't really want. So it's been good to see that they're understanding that's what people want.
Is the place you're thinking of Studio Grill?
Yeah, Studio Grill.
Yeah. I love Studio Grill.
That's Tina back in the audio booth sent me that message, so
Nice.
I'm not taking credit
Good
for it.
call.
Yeah, I love that place too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
When I did eat meat, like their olive burgers.
Oh yeah,
and
their burgers
so I
in
follow their
general.
social media too, and they're always coming up with interesting, like their burger of the week or their sandwich of the week or whatever. And yeah, they get pretty experimental with this stuff too.
Good for them, you know.
Well, you're talking about like the vegetarian food, and I'm mostly vegetarian, and when I was able to make the switch and it's so incredibly cliche, but we went on a trip with my wife and her family to California. Yeah, it's cliche. But because growing up, vegetarian basically meant you just took the meat out and threw a portobello mushroom in its place.
Totally.
And I hate mushrooms. So going there and being in a place where vegetarian food is intentional, I found that I think that vegetarian food is often better than the non, because to make it good, you have to really try.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're cooking a burger. Well, heck, throw some burger on it and a little bit of bacon, and it doesn't matter if you're a good cook. It's going to come out all right. But if you want vegetarian food to taste good, you have to actually try.
Yeah.
I do think too the substitute meat products have come a long way since I was a vegetarian. It was not great then, so that's helped too, I think.
Yeah, they make it pretty easy to not eat meat. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there's a lot of opportunities for that kind of thing with different regional and ethnic cuisines, because a lot of places outside of the United States don't have meat as such a central part of their diet.
Yeah.
And you go to, a lot of those restaurants, and that's the standard. It's, the meat is the extra.
Yep.
What do you want to see more of with your tours, and then what do you want to see more of with the food community?
So for the tours, so this year, because it was my first year, I wanted to just do my standard tours. Next year, I want to play with them a little and maybe do different themed ones. I don't know that I want it to be my full-time gig. I want it to just be a passion project that's fun. So still continue to just do a couple a month. But yeah, I'd like to play around with a little bit. Like I said, doing a couple vegan tours. I've joked about, and maybe it's not a joke, doing some singles tours.
Single mixers.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. Or doing more, because my tours usually run from 1 to 4, so they're more of an afternoon. So doing a couple evening ones where I can make it almost like a progressive dinner kind of thing. So I'd like to see it grow in that way, getting a little bit more creative with the tours. And what was the second part?
What would you like to see, or what are you hoping to see with the food, with the restaurants and such?
Just continued growth. I think specifically downtown. I think downtown is great. I wish there was a little bit more down here to choose from. But I think we need more cuisine choices as well. So like more ethnic foods. It's starting to happen, but I think we have a ways to go with getting different regions of different cuisines. Not even just down here, but throughout Kalamazoo County. So that would be, like I said, I'm seeing it grow, but I'd like more growth there.
Yeah, I love all the ethnic foods. And it's a lot of fun to make. I mean, if I make like a vegan recipe, it's usually like a Thai recipe or with complex flavors and coconut milk and
I do think the young Gen Z, right? That's the younger generation coming up. They're more open to trying more ethnic foods too. So I think there's room for it for sure.
It would be interesting to see like it'd be too much for one person to handle, but I'd love to see something like what you're doing that could expand to, like you're saying, some of the farms and get people to where the producers, or even some of the farmers markets, or some of the like niche smaller groceries, like the Co-op and Pacific Rim, and there's the Hispanic groceries. That could be really interesting to expand people's horizons to what they can do themselves too.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe that will happen for me down the road, where if I do want to expand more, I've thought often it'd be fun to even have some sort of transportation to spread a little further out. Downtown's been so great and walkable and easy, so for now that's good. But hopefully something like that can happen.
Well, it's nice to have it walkable though, because like you're saying, people strike up just impromptu conversations, and like I say, this podcast is connecting communities, and that's how you bring people together. Yeah,
and it is fun hearing as we're walking, gosh, we never come down here, it's so great. So that is a big part of it for me.
And even pointing out the history too. Just the
Yeah.
small part is fun too, you know, because a lot of people, they come down here all the time but don't know,
Yeah.
you know, the history of the buildings.
Which, shout out to Kalamazoo Library, because I had no idea any of the history. So I went in there and talked to someone from
nice.
the historical floor, and he helped me a lot.
Oh,
telling
that's so
me,
cool. I wonder
Yeah.
if it was Matt Smith.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds familiar. I'd have
Yeah.
to check it out.
It may have been.
Whoever it was great.
He's like a Kalamazoo expert,
Yeah.
Kalamazoo history expert. So
Yeah, they were all great there.
we should have him on the podcast.
We should.
Should.
Yeah. In the public library, people don't know enough about the local history room in our public
Yeah, it's
library here
amazing.
downtown on Rose Street. That is such a fantastic resource.
It was, and I live in Schoolcraft, so I'm still within Kalamazoo County, and I didn't realize, he told me while I was talking to him that I could still get a card there, which I didn't know. I assumed because
Oh,
I'm
that's cool.
Schoolcraft resident. Yeah, so yeah, I love that library too. It's just so pretty.
Yeah.
And I wonder, just kind of giving you more things to do. Yeah.
Yeah, add it to the list.
I'm thinking about there's other walking tours around town,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be just kind of cool to see some overlap. I know.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever had a chance to get around. It would be great to have Lynn Houghton on. I think she's retired from her
Does she
walking
do like
tours.
historical
She
tours?
does, yeah,
I've heard about her. I've heard she's
architectural
great.
history and local history walking tours that are fantastic, and she gets huge crowds. I've
Yeah.
seen like crowds of it had to be over 50 people
Wow,
at least,
yeah.
and
Well, when you said themed events, the
Yeah.
first thing that I thought of was like Halloween themed.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Like wear costumes.
down for
Everyone's
that.
dressing up, yeah. Well, and so I'm running the tours April through October, so I totally could do one of my October tours.
For the brave souls, you could break out a February Valentine's Day tour.
Yeah.
Or Christmas, or some sort of holiday tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of it. I just don't want to be walking around in the freezing cold,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Well, it's not as bad downtown.
It's
the
not.
sidewalks will be clear, unlike
Yeah.
anywhere else in town. But
This is
you know,
Yeah, any other themes that come to mind, feel free to throw my way.
yeah, a Halloween tour would be super cool.
That would be fun. I think there's, I don't know if they still do it, there's a haunted tour at some
Yeah.
point, so I can
Yeah.
incorporate
Yeah.
some of that
I've-
too.
Yeah. So I actually years ago went the castle, Henderson Castle had like a haunted Halloween night and like they made all the rooms spooky and talked about how they would see, Henderson's ghost. And
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've heard that's fun.
Those kind of tours are fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that you're walking around town. Just I walk a lot, and whenever I go someplace like travel for a conference or something, I always make a point of spending a day just walking the city. And I think there's no better way to get to know a place than on foot.
Totally. Similarly, when I travel, I do some sort of tour, usually in their downtown area. A lot of times now it's a food tour. It wasn't always. I like the historical tours as well, but yeah, it's a good way to learn a city just by walking around and whether or not it's a tour.
That's raise a good. See, how did you learn how to do a food tour?
I didn't. I don't know. I didn't know what to do. So I actually looked around to see if we had anything else locally. We didn't. The closest we had was Grand Rapids, and there's one in Holland. So I actually went on the Grand Rapids food tour, and she's been amazing. She's been kind of my mentor through this. Her name is Kate. So and it's Taste of GR. So I went on her tour and told her I was thinking about starting one here. She was super supportive of that, and I've sent her about 100 emails with questions. I did her tour again this summer, and then she came and did mine a few weeks back too, just to support each other's. But she's been super helpful, which I think that's amazing too.
That's another form of community.
Yeah, exactly. And then when I travel, like I said, I do food tours, so I just kind of see what other people are doing and steal from them. No, just add a little bit from everyone else's. So yeah, it's been a lot of learning along the way, but she's been the biggest help for sure.
Are there different events in town that help you like stay in touch with restaurant owners and other people who are doing things that might give you ideas or help you out?
I mean, honestly, my followers have been amazing. My Instagram followers, I should say, not my followers, but anyway, I get a lot of DMs with suggestions on where to go, or people that know people and want to connect me with them. So I have a large community on Instagram and on social media, so that's been really helpful with keeping me up to date. And like I said, just like networking almost and making connections.
Let's go back to some of your best of things.
Oh yeah.
So I've heard that you did a pizza one.
Yep.
And you said burgers.
Mm-hmm.
What others have you done? What other best ofs?
Just recently, the most recent one I did was wings, which that didn't get as heated, but that was a good one. I did a breakfast one. That one got really heated. People are passionate about their breakfast place in Kalamazoo, apparently. I think that's it. I might have done one more, and I'm trying to... Tacos. That was another one that was really... That one was probably the most, I would say, divisive. And I always get, after I announce this is who won, that's when people kind of unleash. And they always direct it at me, and I'm like, I am not choosing this. This is your community, and also you had a chance to vote all week. So I do it... bracket style. So I set it all up. I have 8 different places. I have everyone vote at the beginning or nominate. The most nominations are who make the top 8, and then each day is a different vote for until we get down to the top 2. So it's pretty fun.
It is fun to watch the results and even the snarky comments.
Yeah. But I always say, I'm so glad we have so many great choices and that people are passionate about it. Like I said, even though they directed at me, I'll take the beating if that's getting people excited.
How have you chosen those topics?
I have let my some of them have just been like, I need to know because I want to know. But I have also asked people what they want. So I let them guide me through that. I ask my Instagram followers a lot, like, what should I do next? And get some ideas. There's some funny ones in there that I don't think I could ever do, but I'm always trying to think what, like, desserts would be a fun one, or even just ice cream, but...
Ice cream would be a really good
know.
one.
Yeah.
But then you have to separate ice cream from gelato.
I know, it gets really complicated.
Yeah, maybe just best ice cream place.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else is always suggested, but yeah, I just ask people what they want, and they'll tell me.
Have you ever made nice cream?
No. What's this?
We've been making it at home a lot. It's so easy. You freeze bananas and then whatever you put in it, berries, or we did one with chocolate and peanut butter, and a little bit of like almond milk in the blender.
Oh, easy.
And in like 5 minutes you have ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's good.
Yeah, and it's not like pure sugar.
Yeah, and it's like we had a chocolate peanut butter ice cream the other day that was peanut butter, bananas, some chocolate powder, and milk, and it tasted like peanut butter chocolate ice cream.
That's amazing.
And
I have to try that now, though. Yeah.
I like to eat like frozen fruit and then put yogurt on top of it and let like the yogurt freeze and the blueberries like unfreeze a little.
Oh.
Frozen blueberries are delicious.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever I've frozen grapes, but never blueberries.
They get like, I don't know how or why, but they're much, much sweeter.
Really?
Yeah, they get like candied.
I think I have some at home. I might be in the freezer tonight.
I buy them frozen because they're cheaper.
We did we did a U-Pick a few years ago and kind of went overboard.
Yeah.
And had so many, it was ridiculous. But we learned you don't wash them or anything. Just throw them in Ziploc bags, throw them in the freezer. Done.
Yep, they freeze like marbles.
Yeah.
And they don't all stick together?
Nope.
Oh.
That's why you don't wash them. Yeah, if you wash everything, then they will.
Sense.
But yeah, you just throw them in a bag and
Okay.
throw them in the freezer. Good to go.
I love it.
Yeah.
Food is my favorite topic, and I love learning new things about it, so that's great.
So what is your favorite thing to cook?
Gosh, I was in a real, I don't know, I go through phases with cooking, and it was probably during the winter months, I was every Sunday finding something that would take me like a half a day to cook. So I like long, like pasta that's handmade, or like short ribs. I do pizza. I like making pizza. What do I cook a lot of, though? I don't know. I feel like I've been so busy lately with the new business. I haven't been cooking as much. During the pandemic, another thing I spent a lot of time doing was baking bread and learning how to bake bread. So
Okay.
I eventually worked up to making a sourdough, which was very intimidating and scary, but I mastered it. So I occasionally break out the bread and bake a loaf of bread, or focaccia is my favorite to make. So I do that somewhat regularly.
I did a sourdough one. It takes so long
It's a whole
to
thing.
get the sour starter stuff ready.
Yeah, I killed a few before I got it to where it needed to be, but I had all the time
Yeah.
during the pandemic, so yeah, that's fun. It's fun to create something from nothing too, like that. Yeah.
What's the next big exciting thing for Feed Me Kzoo?
Oh gosh, so I have August, September, and October tours to finish out my first tour season. So honestly, just I don't want to say getting through that, because I always look forward to them, but my August tours are almost full. My September, they're almost selling out, which is exciting. So seeing the growth of that and ending the tour season hopefully on a really high note will be exciting. And then being able to take the winter to just focus back on eating out more and sharing stuff through my social media and my
And
website.
coming up with more ideas.
More themed tours, yeah. Yep, absolutely.
So you expect next year will be similar, like format in terms of numbers of restaurants, numbers of tours?
I think so, and hopefully to expand more to different restaurants too. Open up to a couple of new places, and like I said, adding maybe some other ones in here and there, like dinner ones and themed ones. So yeah, I think so. The format's been working well, and it's been fun.
And food is such an important way for people to come together. So it's really great that you do it family style, and that you sit at one table, because food brings people together.
Absolutely. It's so fun to watch. Like I said, just watching people sit down and literally break bread together has been very exciting.
Oh, I was just going to say, because we're probably getting close to time, so tell us where we can find you.
So my Instagram, and I'm on TikTok, and I'm on Facebook. It's all Feed Me Kzoo. It's KZOO. I have my website, feedmekzoo.com, which is where my tickets are sold through there, or through the Eventbrite website. I'm on there as well with my food tour tickets. But on my own website, I also have just a small section that's kind of a mini blog of what I used to do. So I occasionally will post places I've been or events I've gone to, and then just keep people up to date on that website as well. I mean, I can sit here and talk different restaurants all day long, but we don't need to do that today and talk food. But no, thank you so much for having me here and letting me talk about my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. This was great.
course, yeah.
Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, come on my tour sometime. I'll make sure you get fed well.